Hey guys, it's Tuesday, August the 8th. It's about one day before the storm. I think they're projecting the storm to land about what, 2 or 3 a.m. Thursday a.m.
Thursday a.m., that's correct.
So I'm here with our customer, David Lambert with Motorola, and we're going to talk a little bit about what David is going to kind of task our company, the logistics company, with doing. So if you can kind of bring us up to speed a little bit on, you've got some customers, I think, in the track of the storm, and you've got some other things going on.
The current storm track is heading towards Tampa, Sarasota area. That's a big concern, not only for the people that live in that area, but for the communications equipment that the first responders use. So what we're doing, and this actually started a couple of days ago, you and I talked.
Even before the storm made a storm, and then we saw it quickly ramp up to a Category 5, the third lowest pressure in the Atlantic Basin ever at an 897 millibar. And then it kind of ran into Cancun and slowed down, and I think she's back up to a Cat-5 now.
That's what I just noticed.
I think projected landfall somewhere around a Cat-3, a Cat-4 into the Tampa area south now, I think.
Absolutely. This was going to be a serious storm. David and I were talking, we're syncing up, saying, hey, what do we have to do? What do we have to do to get ready? A lot of things you don't see in the backside is all the work that's taking place behind the scenes, and that's getting all this equipment ready to go. The tractor trailers, the generators, the food, the fuel, sleeping quarters, all that stuff has to be prepped. You guys are servicing those vehicles year round?
He perfectly named off like the 7 trailers that we use. We've got this one that's got skid steers and grapples, generators, multiple sleeping quarters, fuel. You know, fuel's a big thing. I don't know if you've seen the mass exodus. All the gas coming out of Florida is gone. The stations are just, they cannot keep it stocked up enough.
Well, it's a mandatory evacuation. This is really what kind of happens behind the scenes. We're ready to go. Our plan is to leave tomorrow morning about 9 a.m. and head down to Florida. So typically what we do is we'll go to a staging area that gets us close enough, but not in the danger zone. We may see some wind and rain, but it's not going to be hurricane strength. We've got a big team going this time, probably 30 vehicles altogether. The other thing that you don't see is there's other crews that are also doing this kind of work in other parts of the state.
Right.
So we have 3 different tower crews that are actually preparing, getting ready to leave in the morning. They're going to meet us at the staging area, what we'll call the pre-staging area.
Well, good. Well, let's walk inside and look at a couple other things, and we'll keep chatting. So, Dave, one of the things we talked about before, the guys are doing it right here. This is a great example of it, is we identify our vehicles to what we're doing. We put the name of the storm, and this has helped us in the past because other agencies that see us don't know that we're together. They're not trying to break us up, but if we're identified as together, it really kind of helps. So that's one of the things they're doing to getting the trucks ready.
So Nick over here, he's actually putting a few extra lights. One thing that's really important when we're going down into an area, a lot of times there's traffic lights aren't working, especially at night. Visibility can be poor. So we intentionally, including your big trucks, they all have LED lights on them, basically
emergency
warning lights.
To let the public know, because you know we want to be intentionally safe. One of the things that we think that's really important in responding to a storm is we don't become part of the story. So we don't want to eat their food, we don't want to consume their hotels, we don't want to take up the resources, and we also don't want to be a traffic problem.
That's right. These are actually, they're called HCLP. It's a pepper trailer, and it's basically used as a temporary site. So there's radio equipment that's in these.
So this would
cabinets.
be like what was the building or the shelter at the bottom of a tower, and then the tower structure itself. This thing kind of takes over, so if all that gets tore up, you've got a perfect example.
So a good example, we've been on some storms, hurricanes, where you may get, like you talked about earlier, 3 or 4 feet of water that goes into the shelter.
And inundates it.
The shelter may be okay, but all the equipment gets
Salt water,
damaged. So what we do is we have these purposely set up on standby with the right equipment in them, and what we can do is bring this down there and either set up a temporary tower. These have 45-foot towers on them.
Right.
Or if the tower is still in good shape, we can just
plumb into this, and then that way we can take advantage of the 200 or 300 foot, maybe higher, that the structure has.
Yeah, it's called a side on wheels, and we'll park the side on wheels next to the tower and hook it up.
Boom, we're ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready to go. So one of the things that's really neat is that not only do we make sure we have extremely great visibility with all the lights, but these trucks are really specially equipped. This is a diesel truck.
Right.
It has an extended gas tank. This truck itself can go over 1,000 miles without refueling. One fill up.
Wow, that's pretty special. So a normal tank would hold like 30 gallons.
It holds 63.
63 gallons, oh wow.
This is a 53-foot box truck, basically. It's a refrigerated trailer. It means it's insulated in the walls. This is one of them we use to haul our equipment. So we have a lot of coax, connectors, antennas, all the way in the back. We've already preloaded everything, our Starlink dishes, our microwave point-to-points.
Hops, lines and antennas.
That's right.
Everything. Well, I call it a hardware store for a technician, exactly.
We provide everything that the tower crews need if they have to replace anything on the tower. And then not only do you have this storage, but under the belly, you guys built that. You added that onto the trailer.
That's right, yeah. So we have that nearly 28 feet between the landing gear and the rear tandem, and it's 2 foot deep, 8.5 feet wide. So it gives us a ton more cubic square feet. That we have a lot of stand stuff, camp stuff, more antennas, poles, standoffs, gear, all kinds of stuff that you need for a tower.
And David mentioned earlier, we try to make sure we're not a burden on the community we're trying to serve. So we bring our own food. That means you have to bring something to cook it, right? So we have grills. And then the one right next to us, this is one of the sleeping trailers.
Yeah, so this trailer is pretty special, Dave. Like you mentioned, we call it the original sleeping trailer. We've got in-motion Starlink, so we've got 200 down, 40 to 50 up. We've got repeaters that we can set up on site if we need it in the convoy, if somebody's handheld. We've got servers that we use with the ATAC system. We've got a neat little battery backup system here that has enough batteries and capacity to run all this in motion. The 2 refrigerators and the freezer in case we were to have a problem. We have the refrigerator trailer, it's got food in the front, frozen stuff in this trailer. And if we lost the generator the minute we pulled out, we still got 8 hours of capacity on the batteries. So that's pretty cool. 12 bunks in the back.
So think of it as you're going on an extended camping trip. You're bringing everything you need with you. That's what you see all the canned goods in here.
Yeah, the open pantry.
And not only that, we have a video system. We have cameras that monitor our surroundings.
That's right. Let us see what's going on. We did a great video on the ATAC system where we can track all the assets, the individual people's phones. We even have devices at work if there's no cellular.
It's key. We have to be able to communicate, try to think of every contingency to be able to do that. So the front half is kind of, some equipment, a little kitchen area and storage. And then if you look in the back, this is where the guys sleep. Got a couple bathrooms, washer and dryer. Some of the guys have said this is the best night's sleep they ever get. I'm not sure if it's because it's really that comfortable or they're just tired.
All right, guys, so again, it is Tuesday, October the 8th. That little storm called Milton has just made Category 5 again, and we're leaving out in the morning. So that way, as soon as the storm passes, we can get in there and evaluate and help your customers and be ready to go.
That's right.
We really appreciate you guys following along. Send this to anybody that you know that might be around the storm, and if you'd like to follow along, we're gonna make Steven get you a video out every day.
Thank you for your help, man.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.